Welcome, dear students. Today we are going to discuss your third chapter, The Little Girl. This chapter has been written by Catherine Mansfield, and as you see, I'm sharing with you the pages of your NCERT book. Here are two questions. First of all, do you know your parents better now or that when you feel when we were much younger? Because as we are growing up, we see that the changing in the bond between the parents and us has occurred, and the story is about a little girl whose father she despises, she doesn't likes, and her understanding changes. Okay, so I'm explaining the chapter. You just pay attention to what is written here. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss. The father used to come and meet her, and she used to respond by saying goodbye, father. And oh, there was a great glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. So when the father used to go and the carriage used to move away, she used to feel relaxed. Now the little girl is very much afraid of her father. In the evening when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard him loud voice in the hall, bring my tea into the drawing room. The father was a large man. According to the little girl, she is very afraid. Hasn't the paper come yet? He used to ask for things. He used to ask for his tea, he used to ask for the paper. Mother, go and see if my paper's out there and bring me my slippers. Now see, he is even instructing the mother. The mother is the grandmother of the little girl whom he is instructing. Kezia, mother would call to her, if you're a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots. So now Kezia is the name of this little girl. She's been asked to come down and take out father's boots. Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. Now this girl was very much afraid. She used to come down and then she has to open the door. By the time he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. She was even terrified by the way the father used to look at her. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today? So now father used to ask her questions that have you been a good girl today? Have you not done anything mischievous today? I don't know, father. So she used to stammer. Now what happens next? You don't know? The father used to imitate her. If you stutter like this, then mother will have to take you to the doctor. So the father warns her that if you're going to stutter like this, we are going to take you to a doctor. She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. Because her father used to come, she used to hate her father like anything, and she was very much worried. What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Wretched is worried about. Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Brink of suicide, at the end of suicide. Like this child was so nervous. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. Now, father used to give her some work. He was so big, the hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. Now you can see the father, he's shown to be a big man here, and then we used to yawning is when he's opening his mouth. So the girl is all the more young. The age seems like 7 or 8 years of age, and the father is big and she is afraid. On Sunday afternoon, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a little nice talk with father and mother. But the little girl always found mother reading, as you can see in the picture, and mother was reading, and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. Snoring is the kind of noise the father used to make when he used to be sleeping. So grandmother is one character who's trying to link these people, but then there's no common link, and the parents are not that much attached to the girl. The girl is afraid of even her father and as well as mother. She stood on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. So the father is looking at her. He says, don't stare so, Kezia, you look like a little brown owl. So even the father makes fun of the girl. He says, you're looking like an owl, why are you gazing at me like that? One day when she was kept indoors with a cold, her grandmother told her that her father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pincushion for a gift as a beautiful piece of yellow silk. So now the father's birthday was coming. Grandmother suggested, why don't you make a cushion? A pincushion is a small cushion, and she was to give her a piece of yellow silk cloth. Laboriously, with a double cotton, the little girl stitched 3 sides. So she had taken up a double cotton, she started stitching, but what to fill in with? That was the question. Now you cannot make a cushion without putting some stuffing inside it. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. She wanted some scraps, some raw material that she can put in in the cushion. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them, tore them up into tiny pieces and stuffed the case, then sewed up the fourth side. So she made the cushion with the papers she found in the room. Now she did not inquire what those papers were about. Now this girl will land up in trouble. That night there was a hue and cry in the house. Father's great speech for the port authority had been lost. Now this was the speech. Hue and cry here is a phrase which means a lot of trouble had been occurred in the whole house. Rooms were searched, servants questions. Finally mother came up into Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room. Now mother is asking, have you seen any papers? Oh yes, she said, I tore them for my surprise. So she says, yes, I have tore those papers for my surprise. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. So she is asked to come down to the dining room, and she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. The father was very angry. He was moving to and fro and his hands were at the back. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? No, 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 she whispered. Go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. See that the child's put to bed this instant. And the father says, you put her there and bring the papers. Whatever she has made, you bring it here. Crying too much to explain, she lay in the shadowed room watching that evening light make a sad little pattern on the floor. Because she was a child and she was trying to give a surprise to the father. She did not have any wrong intentions, but then her intentions were not understood. Then father came into the room with the ruler in his hands. I am going to beat you for this, he said. He comes with a ruler. Now he is about to beat the child. Smacking. These days we don't beat any children. And there was a saying that if you spare the rod, spoil the child. So today we cannot touch the child. There's no corporal punishment. Oh no, no, she screamed, hiding behind the bedclothes. He pulled them aside. Sit up, he ordered, and hold out your hands. You must be taught out once and for not to touch what does not belong to you. Now father has started to beat her. But it was for your birthday. Down came the ruler on her little pink palms. Hours later, when grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. Now, when hours had passed and grandmother was there, she started to take the child and she was consoling her. What did God make fathers for? She sobbed. She started crying. Grandmother, why are fathers made if they had to be like this? Here's a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. Go to sleep, pet. You'll forget all about it in the morning. So now this grandmother is a very consoling figure and she loves Kezia a lot. So she is trying to keep her calm. She says, you go to sleep. I tried to explain to father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. Because father's important document had been lost. He is working hard. And sometimes this has happened with us also, that we are trying our level best to please our parents, but we make some mistakes which are very silly and parents get more angry. But the child never forgot. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both hands behind her back and a red color flew into her cheeks. So now this we say as a saying that whatever falls on children, it makes an impression. Children are like wet clay. So here what has happened is whenever she used to see the father, she used to become red and she used to put her hands back. She was in a fear, in a dread that a burnt child dreads the fire. She is in a dread. Now what she experiences is another thing. The McDonalds live next door. Now there's another family. They had 5 children looking through a gap in the fence. The little girl saw them playing tag. Tag is a game in the evening. The father with the baby Mao on his shoulders, 2 little girls hanging onto his coat, pockets ran round and round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. Once she saw the boy turn the hose on him and he tried to catch them, laughing all the time. Now the children are playing, they're throwing water, one is sitting on the head and 2 are on his arms. So Mr. McDonald was a different kind of father. Then she decided that there are different sorts of fathers. Her father was a kind of a strict father, but Mr. McDonald was not. Suddenly one day mother became ill and she and grandmother went to the hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice the cook. That was all right in the daytime. But while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew suddenly afraid. Now as you see in the picture, this girl is Kezia and she's seeing Mr. McDonald. Mao is sitting and they are playing. All the 5 children are very happy. You see Mr. McDonald is also shown to be a very happy father. What I'll do if I have a nightmare. A nightmare is a bad dream, she asked. I often have nightmares and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark, it all gets whispery. She says, I cannot stay there. You just go to sleep, child, said Alice, putting her off her socks. And don't you scream and wake your poor pa. So now at the end what happens is the girl is left alone with her father to sleep. But the same old nightmare came, the butcher with a knife and a rope. A butcher is a person who sells meat. So she is having a kind of a dream, a bad dream, who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile while she could not move, could not stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma. She woke up, shivering to see father beside a bed, a candle in his hand. And the father is beside the bed and he's having a candle. What's the matter? He said. Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want Granny. He blew out the candle, bent down and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to a big bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed, a half-smoked cigar, and near the reading lamp. So the father came into the room with a candle to see the child was screaming. He had taken him up with her. He took the child with himself. He put away the paper, threw the cigar into the fireplace, then carefully tucked up the child. He lay down beside her, half asleep still, and still with the butcher's smile all about her, it seemed. She crept close to him, snuggled her head under the arm, held tightly to his shirt. So you can imagine, so she's a little girl and she's with her father and she's hugging the father tightly now because the father is trying to console her. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm, said father. Tired out, he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. So grandmother is soft, but the father is hard. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald. Now she realizes that why Mr. McDonald is like that, because he has time, but her father is very busy. He is a busy man. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. Now she realizes her mistake. What's the matter? Asked the father. Another dream? Oh, said the little girl, my head's on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear. So she realizes at the end that father is actually a very loving father. I have made a small glimpse of the chapter that will make you understand the story. Now you see that Kezia has done a mistake. Father is angry. Secondly, we see that the father is very upset. He is beating her, scolding her. Then the little girl watches Mr. McDonald. She sees the children and how happy they are. And with this, at the end, she realizes that the father loves her a lot. So these are the four main things in the story. I am sharing with you the summary of the chapter, which you are not supposed to write in the copy. This is only for the sake of reading. And then the question answers will be given to you. So I hope the explanation was clear.